What's going on, guys? Josh here with Trax RC, and in today's video I want to go over the aftermath of the ultimate RC car durability test with the WL Toys 144001. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link to it right up here, but basically I want to go over why I did this to the WL Toys, and I also want to go over what is left of it because I feel like there's definitely stuff to talk about, and it's pretty weird what happened with the stuff that I found, at least, that was in the fire pit. So let me backtrack a little bit to why I destroyed it completely. So basically, Banggood reached out to me a little under a year ago, and they were like, hey, we want to send you a RC car to test. You know, what one do you think you're going to be interested in? And I said I would like to try out the WL Toys because I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I've seen a lot of videos where people enjoy it, so I'm like, hey, it could be cool content, plus it's not that expensive. I'm sure they'll say yes. And I ended up getting the WL Toys to test. I unboxed it, and the first running video, it broke. And the second running video, it also broke. Now keep in mind that those two videos were filmed in the middle of winter. It was cold. I don't know why I even attempted to take it to a skate park in the winter. I really do think any RC would have broken, but it just broke too quick. I didn't get good content out of it out of the first two videos. And then the real first run, I waited until spring when there was no snow and ice. And it actually worked really good. I didn't break a single thing. It was just a pretty tame running video. There wasn't really a lot going on. I was just driving on the street, and that was about it. From that video, I really enjoyed how it drove. It drove really well. It handles amazing. That's the best thing about this RC. But anything other than handling, it stops there. As for good things about it, it's not durable whatsoever. And then on the fourth running video, since I already kind of tested it very minimally, this is where I actually wanted to test it to see what it would handle under my driving, because I already tested it in the third running video, kind of mimicking what the average person would do when they get a new RC car. So the fourth running video was just going out on it, not really trying to break it, just having fun with it, you know, like I do with all my other big bashers. And I ended up going up a ramp a few times. I think the first time it was good. Like the second or third time I went up that ramp, I kind of went up it and then landed slightly on the railing. I think I like tapped it though. I'll put a video up on the screen of what broke it, but basically the front diff case broke, and after that I was like, all right, well, it's getting it now, because at that point I was getting pretty frustrated with how quick it broke and I couldn't get good content out of it. So then I went to hit the jump at full speed again with the broken diff case, which it still drove fine. It was just the shock tower that wasn't mounted. So when I was going up to hit that ramp again at full speed, I hit a railing and the heatsink fell off the ESC, the center drive shaft bent, ejected the battery, broke a body post. I mean, a lot happened for literally just hitting a railing, which all my other RCs I'm confident would have not have broken. So after that video, that was the last time that I ran the WL Toys. I took that back. There was a drag race that I ran it, and it actually broke during the drag race. I literally just kind of tossed it on the ground on the street, landed flat, and it broke a caster block. Like, what? I was shocked. You guys saw me in that video. And then at that point, I just started throwing it to see what would happen. I've never had an RC car that is not able to take just slight impacts like that. It blew my mind, honestly. And after that video, I already had planned to do this to it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have any more content. It's time to get rid of it. And I wanted to send it out good. I just didn't want to stop using it and have it sitting on the shelf because I feel like that'd be pointless. So I wanted to get some good content out of it for you guys. Plus, I saw a few comments saying that you guys wanted me to burn it. So I'm like, well, I got nothing to lose. And on this point with the Banggood side of things, I kind of lost contact with them. I mean, nothing like happened over there as of right now because the video is still private, and I'm not going to send them that video, obviously, because I don't think Banggood itself is bad. I just think this RC car is bad. And before I actually plan to destroy it or do the ultimate durability testing, I messaged Banggood. I'm like, hey, you know, this RC car is doing really good on my channel, because it was, but I'm noticing that I'm not able to get the content that I want out of it. And they responded to me saying, basically, I can't get another car to review because I need to sell $1,000 in a month worth of this product, which the WL Toys cost $100 to $150. So depending on what style you get and the amount of batteries that it comes with, I mean, I would have to sell basically 8 to 10 of them. And at that point, I went to my Banggood affiliate links because it says how many sales you've had, and it said I had 0 sales, so I didn't sell a single one of these RC cars, and I knew I needed to sell 8 to 10 of them to get another one. And at that point, with over, I want to say 3,000 views between all the WL Toys videos, I knew I wasn't going to sell a single one because of the issues that I had. No one wanted to buy it. So I'm like, you know what? The chances of me getting another RC car from Banggood is slim to none. And I should clarify, I'm not hating on Banggood whatsoever. I'm hating on this RC car. It did not live up to my expectations, and that's why I destroyed it. I still think that Banggood is a great company, and I will want to work with them in the future. I'm just gonna pick something that's gonna be a little bit more reputable. But what I learned about this RC in particular is that it's just not durable. I would not recommend this RC. It's definitely not a great first RC car because if you break it, it's so hard to fix. Plus it has all Phillips screws and they strip out so easily. It's just not worth the price. Even if you're just looking for something to make a little track in the backyard, I would not recommend it. So that's why I decided to destroy it. At that point, I just really had nothing going for this RC. It didn't excite me. It was a hassle to make a video with because I knew I had to fix it. And now let's go over the parts that I acquired after I burned it. Now, I'm sure that there's more still left in the fire pit. As you guys saw at the end of that video, I just dumped a ton of water on it to put the fire out. So at that point, the fire pit was basically filled with water, and I'd used a set of pliers to pick out what I could find. And this is what I found. So we'll start over here. First of all, we got a shock spring. It's bent. Still works, just a little rusty. And then we got another shock. This one has a bent shock shaft. It's all charcoaled black. The shock cap burned off because it was plastic, and you can see the shock shaft right there. Then we have the shock tower. I think it's the front one. It's very bent, and then, you know, just a little rust accumulating on it. Obviously, the anodizing is wearing off a little bit from the fire. And then this is the tie rod, I think, for the bell cranks. It's fine. It's not bent. It looks pretty straight. It's definitely still usable. And then we have a rear hinge pin brace. I think it's the rear because I actually had to super glue the whole rear end on when I put the new motor in. I didn't really feel the need to mention it because I was just gonna run it over in the next test anyways. Yeah, this is the rear hinge pin brace. And then we have one of the tires. This was on the front actually because of the universal. That's what's left of the rim and the tire on that end. There's a nut somewhere in there. And then that's the universal. As you can see, it's just very corroded because I rinsed off all these parts with water to get all the ashes off and stuff like that. Yeah, you can just see how bent that is right there. It's kind of weird how the whole rim didn't melt because it's plastic. We'll go on to this tire then. Yes, the rim is still there. It's basically in the same shape. Again, there's a shock right there. The cap is all burned off. As you can see, the bottom of the shock is all molded into the rim. There's part of a drive shaft, and then that's a steering link, I think. Then we'll go on to this one. Again, the shock is stuck to it. This drive shaft is the most bent out of all of them. It's at like a 45-degree angle right there. One of the steering links poking out of it. And then you can see the shape of the hub in there kinda, and where the drive shaft goes in and all that. This one was on the front, and you can see the nut right there. And then we'll go to the ESC here. Of course, the whole outer case burned off. That was a given. All the wires are still there. Got the heat sink still. It's all beat up. And then this is where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, how did the battery strap not burn? It's definitely shrunken a little bit, but that's weird. This is the servo right here. You can see that some of the plastic is just melted around it. This is the servo motor, just connected by the wires. We got the steering posts right here. They're just a little loose. All the plastic is burned off. Bearings are still there. Of course, they don't spin. Of course, the chassis is very bent. Overall, it's still relatively straight. It's not like bent in half. And then the front diff case. Now, I actually put a metal diff case on this. I never told you guys that. I couldn't find a plastic one, so I just got the metal. And to my surprise, it shrunk the metal. Like, this was a metal diff case, and you can see how much it like warped it. And then the front diff is stuck in there. And if you guys paid attention really closely to the little time lapse I did of when it was burning, you heard two pops right after another. And I think those were the front and rear diffs. You can see this one has like this metal stuff. I don't know if this is like charred fluid or something, or just metal from the gears. I really don't know, but it kind of popped out of the diff case. On each of the outputs of the diff, you can see how crooked it is. This one's going up, that one's going up another way. So I don't know what's going on in there. And then this is one half of the rear diff, and you can see this one basically exploded. You can see the shape of the ring gear right there. Just kind of blows my mind the way things worked out. There's a little screw. Yeah, pretty cool. And then the motor, and there's a ton of debris stuck to the motor, one being the other half of the rear diff right there. You can see the other part of the drive shaft stuck to it, the bearing. That's a pinion gear. I think just all the black stuff is just plastic that didn't finish burning. And then this is where it gets really weird. How did the spur gear not burn? It's literally a plastic spur gear. The whole end cap is kind of bent up right there, and it's all charred. So guys, that's the aftermath of the WL Toys. Now, my question for you guys is, would you be questioning the materials used to make one of these RC cars? It just seems like some things shouldn't have burned, like some of the metal pieces, like the aftermarket diff housing. But yeah, I'm just not sure the grade of material that they're using. It's definitely not good. I mean, you guys saw saw one hit with the hammer and the chassis was bent. So guys, definitely post some comments down below in the comment section of this video. Tell me your thoughts on this. Obviously, I kind of knew it was not going to be usable after all the testing, but it's just kind of weird how some things worked. Like the diffs, I thought those would be kind of intact. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like, share with others so I can grow my channel. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video on Trax RC.
There goes a sight from my soul.